Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show podcast. So today's episode is going to be a review of Love Island 2020 episode 3. If you can hear some wind in the background, I'm sure you know it's just windy as hell. So yeah, we've got some wind ambience with us today. So let's just get into the episode. Obviously, we know it is post-snatching. There is a development. Ollie has left the house. And I guess this episode I was trying to figure out why. Obviously, his statement, he said that he left because he was still in love with his ex. But I feel like, obviously, we know there was going to be some drama involving him in the episode. So I was thinking maybe it was the drama. That's why he left, but I'll talk about that later. Yeah, so obviously post-snatching, Ollie's in the pit saying he was bricking it. I don't really know why he was saying he was bricking it. Ain't nobody was checking for him. The confidence. Next, obviously, the twins and Callum and Mike go on a double date. And these men, just sort of saying, these men, you know, Callum never really claimed Shauna like that. So Callum gets a pass. But Mike, he was flirting a lot. He was saying, oh, I wasn't sure that you guys were going to pick me, like acting all fake shy. And then basically saying how it's nice to be wanted. And I'm just thinking, well, first off, Leanne said that she wanted you. Leanne said she was into you. So I'm not really sure about this. It's nice to feel wanted all of a sudden is coming from. And then secondly, as I said in my last podcast, he's somebody who wants multiple women to want him. Multiple women vying for his attention and his affection. And this comment just proves it. Then obviously, as I was saying, Callum was basically just telling the twins, he was just, I wouldn't say necessarily throwing Shauna under the bus, but it was very clear that Callum does not feel the same way for Shauna as Shauna feels for Callum. He was basically just spilling all the tea, saying, you know, she kissed him goodbye and, you know, she's not above the twins and he just wants them to know that. So basically saying, you know, he's very into getting to know the twins. And I feel like he probably prefers to be with the twin than he does with Shauna. Obviously, they're both chatting and it just kind of seems like Mike and Callum have just Shauna and Leanne to the side. And then on top of that, Mike has told the twin that, you know, he told Leanne that he was open to getting to know, you know, the twin if he was picked. You know, she knows that kind of thing. But like I said before in the last episode, he was very vague about it. He was never really upfront about it. But yeah, obviously, back in the villa, Shauna and Leanne are pressed. They're, you know, I feel like most of it was Shauna. I feel like Shauna was kind of hyping Leanne up, but it was kind of a thing where she was like, you know, they're coming into our house, they're stealing our men. And, you know, she said it in a jokey way, but I know she was kind of serious because, you know, Shauna, she's coming across quite possessive and quite territorial. Shauna's talking about how, you know, she needs to dress up tomorrow. She needs to be wearing skimpy clothes. She needs to have skin out so Callum knows, you know, what he's missing out on. But, you know, at that point, I'm just thinking, if you knew that your men were basically have dashed you out to the side, like within 20 seconds they've already dashed you to the side in front of the presence of other women, it's just a bit funny. So Shawnice pulls Naz to the side and basically says that she's not really into him. She doesn't really fancy him. She does kind of say, well, you know, you never know, you know, I could change my mind again, but I just wanted to be honest with you. And I feel like that was stupid. Like, fair enough, you don't like him, cool, yeah. But at the same time, like, two girls are going out. So I just feel like if it was the time to tell Naz that you don't like him, this probably was not the time. I just don't understand why she can't just keep things to herself. And in her head as well, because it feels like every day in the confessional, she's just saying that she doesn't like Naz, she doesn't fancy him. But I'm just thinking, if you really didn't like the guy, why aren't you exploring other options in the house? Are you just going to sit in the confessional every day and say that you don't like Naz? She's just annoying me. So obviously, Mike and Callum come back with Jess and Eve. And it's just kind of awkward. Leanne and Shauna don't really want to get up, but then everyone's getting up because everybody wants to know the gossip, everyone wants to know the tea. So they know that it's going to look bad if they just don't come up to them with everybody else. Leanne goes up to Mike, but Shauna decides that she's not going to go up to Callum, and Callum doesn't go up to her. And I feel like Callum was just trying to avoid Shauna because Shauna is just very intense. And I don't actually blame Callum for not going up to her because, we've already seen Shauna's behaviour. So obviously all of the girls are gathered up together in the little sofa living room area, and it is just very awkward. And then obviously the twins are like, yeah, we want everyone to be friends, but we had to pick someone. Yeah, sorry. They are annoying. I would have been very pissed off. I feel like I would have just stormed out of the room because that would have just annoyed me, because I just feel like it's very patronizing. They ask her how she's feeling. Shauna keeps it short and sweet, said she feels like shit. And then they basically say, oh, do you want to have a personal chat? It's better that we hash things out now, and not be speaking behind people's backs. And you know what? I hate people like this, because it's just if somebody's on beef with you, let them marinate in that beef. If they want to keep the beef to themselves, let them keep it to themselves, because them telling you they're on beef is now not somehow means that the beef is over because they said they had beef with you. I just don't understand it. I just feel like at that point, when Shauna said she didn't want to speak about it, they should have just left that. After that, obviously, when Shauna left the room, then they're whispering saying, oh, I don't understand why she's angry at me, there's only so much apologizing that I can do. So I'm just feeling, so the sorry that you said was just fake in the beginning anyway, which we all knew anyway. I just don't get girls like that. I just feel like you stole her man, just keep the distance. So Mike, I guess this is the most honest he's been so far, but he tells Leanne that, he does want to get to know Eve, but he is quite cheeky about it, because like I said, he was quite vague. And then on top of that, he's saying, oh, so how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? And then he was basically saying, how do you feel about that? Well, of course she's not going to feel great about it. And then he goes further and says, how do you feel about me sharing a bed with her? He wanted to get a reaction out of her. He wanted to get some emotional reaction out of her, because why else would he say that? I feel like he gets off on emotional torture, and I feel like he's someone who would be quite manipulative. So Callum has just chosen to completely just ignore Shauna. Even in the morning, first thing in the morning, he doesn't go up to speak to her, so he's just longing it. I'm just feeling at this point he knows he's going to have to address it with her. So it's just a point where just stop being scared, innit? At this point I'm just thinking Shauna's scared him off. So at this point I'm kind of thinking, I think Shauna has definitely lost Callum, and that Callum is just going to go with Eve because it's just a more comfortable option for him. And it's a less intense relationship. And then on top of the intensity, they've only known each other 24 hours. So he's probably just thinking 24 hours and the stress that I'm feeling, do I actually want to be dealing with that for 6 weeks? So obviously in the middle of the episode, Paige kind of confronts Ollie about him saying that he was interested in Sean, after him basically saying that his eggs are all in her basket. To be fair to Ollie, he did say it on the first day, but where he went wrong about it is that he lied. He could have just said yes, I said that, but that was literally on the first day. By the time I'd said all my eggs are in your basket, I had made up my mind that you were the only person for me. But no, he just goes out with a lie, and he just keeps on going with the lie. He's so confident in his lying that he's saying, bring Shawnice out. And I feel like when people do that, they feel like them saying, oh, well, bring out the witness, that they'll think, oh, okay, he must be telling the truth if he's so bold-faced asking for Shawnice to come over. Paige is okay, bet, Shawnice come over. Shawnice comes, spills the tea, and then he still lies, and then he still bold-faced lies. And I feel like it's one of those things where you are now like lying so much that you are now believing in the lie, because even in the confessional, he's lying in the confessional saying, oh, they're trying to make me out to be a liar, blah, blah, blah. But if we roll back the tapes, he fully said he was interested in Paige and Shawnice to Shawnice. So obviously, then there's the kind of thing, like, it happens every year with like a girl basically telling another girl that their guy secretly tried it with them. And she was like, you know, I did the right thing telling her because, you know, I would want to know. Where do you guys stand on that? Because technically, like, they've only all known each other 48 hours. There's no, like, exclusive relationships. There's no girlfriends, no boyfriends. Do you feel like Sean should have just minded her business? Do you feel like she was petty doing that? Or do you feel like it was the right thing? I just feel like you never know who you might need in that house. So I just wouldn't ruffle any feathers for something that is insignificant. What do you guys think? So Mike is now basically saying that he, you know, still likes Leanne. So he goes to Eve and, you know, basically says that, you know, he's still interested in Leanne. And again, him just being extra, he's saying, you know, he could have just left it of, I still have feelings for Leanne and I'm still open to getting to know Leanne. He's going and saying, oh, he was waking up and he looked at Leanne and he had butterflies and he just finds himself thinking about Leanne all day long. Who needs to hear any of that? Especially the person who's interested in you. Who needs to hear that? But anyway, so basically Jess is not here for it. She's like, so what are you saying? You still like Leanne? And then he was like, you know, I still like Leanne. And she was like, so what are you saying? Do you like Leanne more than you like me? And he basically said, yeah. Now, I feel like he was hoping that the outcome was going to be that, what was it? Jess. No, he's with Jess. Okay. He was hoping that the outcome was that Jess was now going to be, maybe give him more attention than she was, or try harder with him to like sway his opinion. Obviously that didn't go well, because I guess Jess was under the impression that she must have had that source, that she could just take Mike clean sweep and his head wouldn't swivel back to Leanne. That is some mighty confidence that she's got right there. I don't know I don't know where her head was at and what power she thinks she possesses, but she's just not that girl. But anyway, she's not here for it, you know, each to her own. She wants to be, you know, I guess when she wants to be with someone, she wants to be like the only person that they're thinking about, which I just think she's kidding herself, because she's in Love Island of all places. Like, literally, when the next girl comes in, whoever she's coupled up with is probably going to be looking at that too. But anyway, she's not here for it, so she basically just locks off the relationship. And I think Mike was shocked by that. He didn't think that she was just going to lock off the relationship. So then, obviously, as soon as she locks off the relationship, he's already thinking about, okay, I need to talk to Leanne now so I can get back with her and secure that. Obviously, back to the Paige and Ollie drama. Paige and Mike are talking about it, and of course, Mike vouches for Ollie, you know, fellow liar. Then, of course, Mike goes back to Leanne for a chat. And, you know, Leanne's just being chill. You know, she took it very well. She took it very mature in terms of when he was like, you know, I want to go get to know Jess. And she was just chilling. You know, she was topping up her tan. She wasn't paying Mike no mind. And what do you know? He comes groveling back. And again, the lies again. You see, did you catch those lies? Because he basically made it seem like, you know, he told Eve that he still had feelings for, no, basically, yeah. Again, he's going up to Leanne and he's saying, you know, it was nice waking up to Jess. Again, why does that need to be included? It's because he's trying to let her know perhaps he's not 100% her, because he said, I had a nice time waking up with Jess. So he's trying to, so even though he's saying all of this stuff about opening up, it's all to know all of your weaknesses so he can break you down. Anyway, moving on. Then he basically says that he told Jess that he was still into Leanne, and that basically he didn't see a future with Jess. And that is not what he said That's not what he told Jess, but that's the narrative he's playing with Leanne. So even though Leanne and Mike are basically back together, I do not trust Mike. I feel like this could happen again when another bombshell comes in. And if he was to last till Casa and Moore, I feel like Leanne is going to be there standing by herself waiting for Mike to come in with another girl. So Eve pulls Shauna for a chat. Again, I'm not really sure why these girls are on this, oh, let's hash it out. Like, honestly, the beef is just so minute. It's very simple. You stole her man. Of course she's going to be pissed off about it. Just leave it. But no, I guess because Callum hasn't spoken to her, she just wants to maybe kind of ease the situation. Maybe. But anyway, Eve pulls Shauna for a chat, and basically, again, very shady, these twins. She basically lets Shauna know, because obviously she knew Shauna was going to do this, because Callum gave her a heads up. Shauna was like, oh, we had a kiss before you guys picked him. And she was like, yeah, I know, he told me on the date. And he basically joked and said he wasn't going to be kissing her when she arrived. Basically saying that Callum was taking the piss out of her on the date. But trying to make it seem like she's a homegirl, but then trying to make it seem like you're not sharing a bed with Callum. So it's just, very shady. So obviously, Shauna is like a bit pissed. And obviously Callum now, he said he was going to go talk to her tomorrow morning. It's now night. He's gone pulled her up for a chat. And, they kind of address it, but, she's quite defensive. He's quite defensive. And it's not really hashed out. Shauna says, she's not really interested in him anymore. He's behaving like a little boy. And I feel like Callum was being, a bit immature. But then again, it's just kind of like Shauna is very defensive. So you have to kind of talk to her in a certain way to get her off your back. So, but then obviously in the preview, what do we see? We see Shauna is there trying to get all close to Callum again. And then also in the preview, we see Naz and Shawnice looking very close. Again, I'm not really sure. Obviously, it's Naz kind of speaking to Shawnice, but I'm not really sure why Naz would try and pursue things with Shawnice when it's Shawnice that needs Naz to save her in the next elimination. And then obviously next it's the kind of Ollie's situation reveal. Obviously he's left. I guess we're going to hear what he says that his reason is. But me personally, from this episode, maybe we'll get a bit more information next episode, but it just seems to me like he's just not feeling the house. He's missing his maids. He's missing his moose mounds on his wall. And I just feel like he just wants to be back in the life of luxury. He's sick of ham sandwiches for breakfast. He wants his caviar. He wants his lobster. And he just wants to go back to wherever he came from in the countryside. But I feel like he knows he's looking like a dickhead on TV. And it's just getting a bit too much for him. So I feel like that's the real reason he left. All of this, I had an ex-girlfriend and I'm still in love with her. All of that shit is bullshit. Like, for somebody who's cheating on somebody 8-9 times in a relationship, and now all of a sudden you're leaving the house because you're missing your ex that you'll probably see in 5 weeks, doesn't make sense to me. But then again, he's rich, he doesn't need to stay in the house to get the Pretty Little Thing brand deal, the Just Eat brand deal. So he doesn't really have anything to lose. But all I'm saying is he's probably going to have to be on lockdown, because it's not like last year. Obviously, there was the scandal last year with Anton and the blackface, but he pretty much lasted to the end. And, less and less people were bringing it up. And a lot of people kind of knew about it, but they were like, oh, we kind of like him still. So, the backlash when he was coming out wasn't that much. But, him coming up this early when the outrage and the backlash is still so fresh, good luck to him. But now I'm not too sure what's going to happen with this elimination thing, because now there's one less boy, but 2 girls were meant to be dashed to the side and eliminated. So I'm not sure if they're going to do something like last year where Paige gets safe, or one of the girls gets safe, or maybe they're going to, do another twist. I feel like they need another twist in the works. But what do you think they're going to do in terms of the recoupling / elimination now that Ollie has left? On Twitter, a lot of people are very skeptical about this Mike and Leanne rekindling, because obviously Mike last year, you know, the Mikes don't have a really good rep on Love Island. I'm skeptical too. I feel like he's going to try something again later down the line. People are saying they're getting flashbacks from about Yewande and Danny. People are saying that the Ghanaian wedding is back on. Let me tell you, ain't gonna be no wedding, shawty. People are saying that they're happy that Leanne and Michael are back together. Is there anyone who is generally happy for Leanne and Michael? Let me know. People are saying Mike's got one more chance. People are saying that Jess picked Mike because she assumed that Leanne wouldn't be able to compete with her. Jess definitely thought that she was Pamela Anderson or some shit. She definitely thought that that was the case. People are standing Shauna and standing the quote, "I want a boyfriend, not a son." Let me tell you, the boys in here love to play games. I do think she needs to stop being a bit possessive though, and that I don't think she's going to find love or success in Callum. Obviously, we saw in the preview that, you know, she was entertaining him again, and I just feel like she just needs to leave Callum with Eve. And yeah, people are making fun of the way that Ole got caught out in his lie. But yes, there's a lot of drama going on this episode. What do we think about this episode? Do we feel like the reason that Ollie is leaving because of his ex is legit? What do we think about his attempt at lying so badly? And what do we think about Mike and Leanne? And for those of you who are wondering, my Twitter is shannonbafundilaenquiries. It's in the bio. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet, and make sure to have that notification bell so you know when the next episode is dropping. Till next time, guys. Bye.